Living Power with Dan Hurst.
Now let's look at the misuses real quick. We've got just a few minutes here. There are a number of misuses, actually 9 misuses in the person who has the gift of serving. The first one is they tend to neglect home responsibilities to help others. They tend to neglect home responsibilities to help others. Second misuse is they accept too many jobs at one time. I see some of you nodding and looking at somebody that you know has the gift of serving. And you're saying, that's you. Not always, but that is a misuse. The third misuse is they wear themselves out physically, just like Timothy did. The fourth misuse is they being too persistent in giving unrequested help to others. Oh yeah, you are going to cross the street. You know, I'm going to help you whether you want help or not. You know, because you need it. You know, and there's this misuse of I'm going to help this person when the person doesn't even want help, or the person isn't sensitive to the fact that they have a need. Even though the person who has the gift of serving has noticed the need, the person who has the need may not know that they have that need, and so they just kind of reject a willingness to help. And so the person who has the gift of serving is just, oh, no, you have this need, I am going to help you. The fifth misuse is going around proper authorities to get jobs done. You mean we have to get approval? We'll do it anyway. That's a person, I love that, by the way, I think it's kind of cool, but that is a misuse of the gift of serving. Going around proper authorities just to get the job done. The sixth misuse is excluding others from helping on a job. Now this isn't, in fact, usually it's not intentional. It's usually one of those things that they're just so busy and focused on meeting needs, and they want to get this done, and remember, they tend to shun leadership. And so because they tend to shun leadership, they don't look at ways to include other people in a project and get them all involved in that. And so sometimes they exclude others from being a part of that particular project or that job or that ministry. That's a misuse. They don't always do that, but that certainly is one of the misuses that happens once in a while. A seventh misuse is interfering with God's discipline by premature help. Now, Marcia and I have had this discussion so many times. Somebody will be in a point of need, and Marcia just wants to go and do something and help them and minister to them right away. And my tendency is, why don't we just sit back and just watch what God does? You know, God may be disciplining them. And remember, discipline is not punishment. Discipline is God doing what He has to do to get you to do what He wants you to do. It's not whipping you. It's leading you to do what He wants you to do. That's discipline. And so a person who has the gift of serving wants to get right in and help this person because this person has a need. Another person might just look at it and say, why don't we, you know, maybe they're going through this because God's trying to teach them a lesson. And why don't we just not interfere and let God do what He wants to do? A person who has the gift of serving, here's another misuse, becoming hurt by the ungratefulness of those who are being helped. Again, it's not because they need to be thanked, but it's because they need to feel like what they're doing is actually on target, and it's meeting a need, and it's doing something right. And if there's no response to that, then they sometimes tend to feel hurt. They sometimes tend to feel rejected. And then the ninth thing, the final misuse, is the tendency to get sidetracked while working on an assignment. They get so busy doing something, and then all of a sudden they see another need, and it's like, oh, I've got to go take care of this. And then now they're busy on that one, and now they're looking at this other need over here, and before long, they've neglected this first need that they got started in. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 20 through 21. Listen to the advice. Listen to what Paul says to Timothy. Timothy, guard what has been entrusted to your care. Turn away from godless chatter and the opposing ideas of what is falsely called knowledge, which some have professed, and in doing so have wandered from the faith. Timothy was getting caught up in debating and talking about some of these issues, and that wasn't what Timothy's job was. That wasn't what Timothy was supposed to be doing. That wasn't where his gifts were. And so while he was trying to convince people and argue with people and debate things and trying to convince people that what he was doing and what he was saying was right, instead of letting the Holy Spirit do what the Holy Spirit does, Timothy had a tendency to get sidetracked and start dealing with other issues rather than what his gift was. A person who has a gift of serving will sometimes get distracted and kind of get focused on little bitty small items that really aren't that important in the big picture, but they get focused on doing something. And that's a misuse. Now,